Hey everyone, and welcome to English in Mastery. I am Natasha, your host for today. If you are new here, I would like to let you know that we upload powerful English learning videos every day on this channel to help you improve your English faster and more effectively. In today's episode, you will not only improve your English listening skills, but also develop your English speaking and writing skills. This lesson is very special because it is all about learning how to talk about your day in English in a natural and fluent way. Together, we will explore advanced English expressions, useful vocabulary, and powerful daily life phrases that will help you reach the advanced level. By the end of this lesson, you'll know exactly how to describe your daily activities, how to connect your ideas smoothly, and how to express yourself with confidence in English. You will learn how to sound more fluent, build stronger vocabulary, and feel much more confident when speaking English with others. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also press the bell icon if you want more helpful English learning episodes like this. So, grab a pen and paper. Let's get started. When you begin talking about your day, the first thing to remember is that fluency is not just about using correct grammar. It is about creating a natural flow, a rhythm that feels smooth and confident. Many learners hesitate because they translate from their native language word by word, and that makes them sound unsure or unnatural. But when you learn to describe your day directly in English, your sentences become more natural, and your fluency improves step by step. Let's start with the morning. The moment you wake up, there are simple phrases you can use to describe your actions. Instead of saying, I get up, you can expand it with natural expressions like, I usually get up at 7 in the morning, or I wake up early because I like to have time for myself before work. Notice how these sentences are longer and give more detail, which makes your English sound more advanced and fluent. Practice with me now. Say this slowly. I usually wake up at 7 in the morning. Good. Now try this. I wake up early because I like to prepare for my day calmly. Excellent. By practicing full sentences like this, you train your brain to think in English and not to stop at single words. Now, let's add some vocabulary to make your speaking richer. For example, instead of always using I brush my teeth, you can try I brush my teeth and wash my face to feel fresh. Or I take a shower to wake myself up and feel ready for the day. These small additions not only make your sentences longer, but also help you connect ideas. Connecting ideas is one of the secrets to sounding fluent. Here's a practice exercise for you. Imagine you are telling a friend about your morning routine. Say it out loud. I wake up at 7, I brush my teeth, I take a shower, and then I have breakfast. Good. Now, let's make it more advanced by adding details. I usually wake up at 7. I brush my teeth and wash my face. Then I take a quick shower, and I have breakfast while listening to some music to start my day positively. Do you feel the difference? The second version sounds more fluent, more confident, and gives a natural picture of your life. Another important point is to practice linking words. These are words like then, after that, later, and finally. They help your sentences flow like a story, instead of sounding like a list of actions. For example, I wake up at 7. Then I brush my teeth and wash my face. After that, I take a shower and get dressed. Later, I have breakfast with my family. And finally, I leave the house for work. See how natural that sounds? Now, repeat with me slowly. I wake up at 7, then I brush my teeth. After that, I take a shower and get dressed. Later, I have breakfast with my family. And finally, I leave the house for work. Great job! When you practice like this, you build not just vocabulary, but also confidence in structuring your sentences. Remember, confidence comes from practice. Every time you describe your day, add a little more detail, use a linking word, or include an emotion. For example, you can say, I wake up early, and although I feel tired, I try to start the day with positive energy. Or, I have breakfast with my family, and it makes me feel relaxed before starting work. When you add emotions and details, your English stops sounding like a textbook and starts sounding real, fluent, and advanced. After your morning routine, one of the best ways to practice fluency is to talk about breakfast in detail. Many learners only say, I eat breakfast, but that is too short and doesn't help you build advanced sentences. Instead, try adding more description, more variety, and more feelings to what you say. For example, I usually eat breakfast at around 8 o'clock. I have a cup of coffee, some bread, and an egg. Now, let's expand it. I usually eat breakfast at around 8 o'clock. I drink a hot cup of coffee. I toast some bread with butter, and I fry an egg sunny side up because I enjoy a warm breakfast. Notice how much richer and more advanced Todd sees. His second version is, here's a practice exercise. Say this slowly with me. I usually eat breakfast at around 8 o'clock. Good. Now expand it. I usually eat breakfast at around 8 o'clock. I drink coffee, eat bread, and enjoy an egg. Excellent. Now make it advanced. I usually eat breakfast at around 8 o'clock. I drink a strong cup of coffee to wake up fully. I eat toasted bread with butter. And I enjoy an egg because it gives me energy for the rest of the morning. The longer you speak, the more confident you sound. To build fluency, you need to practice variety. Instead of repeating the same sentence every day, try to describe your breakfast differently. One day you can say, I had cereal with milk and a banana because I was in a hurry. Another day you can say, I prepared pancakes with honey because it was Sunday and I wanted a special breakfast. And another day, I just drank a smoothie with fruit because I wanted something light. When you practice different versions, you become more flexible in speaking, and flexibility is what makes advanced speakers sound natural. Let's also practice with linking words again. Say this with me. I usually have breakfast, and at the same time I read the news online. After that, I prepare my things for work, and then I leave the house. Or, I usually have breakfast while listening to music. After that, I pack my bag, and finally I go to the bus stop. These little connectors, while at the same time, after that, finally, make your English sound smooth like a story. Now, let's go beyond just the routine and talk about feelings. In advanced English, you don't only say what you do, you also share how you feel while doing it. For example, I drink coffee in the morning because it makes me feel awake and focused. Or, I like to eat breakfast with my family because it gives me a warm start to the day. Here's a fluency exercise for you. Imagine you are speaking to a new friend and they ask, what do you usually do in the morning? Try answering like this. Well, I usually wake up at 7. I brush my teeth, take a shower, and then I prepare breakfast. I like to drink a strong cup of coffee because it helps me wake up, and I usually eat toast with butter and an egg. After that, I get ready for work and leave the house at around 8:30. That's a fluent answer. It sounds smooth, natural, and detailed. Now let's push it a little more advanced. Add some linking words, add emotions, and add variety. Well, I usually wake up around 7, and although I sometimes feel tired, I try to start the day with energy. After brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I prepare breakfast. I drink a cup of coffee because it makes me feel awake, and I usually eat toast with butter and an egg. Sometimes I listen to music while eating, and it helps me relax before the busy day begins. After that, I get ready, pack my bag, and finally leave the house at about 8:30. Notice how this version sounds even more fluent and advanced. It's a complete story of your morning to train your brain. Try shadowing this answer with me. Repeat each sentence slowly after I say it. Well, I usually wake up around 7. Although I sometimes feel tired, I try to start the day with energy. After brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I prepare breakfast. I drink a cup of coffee because it makes me feel awake. I usually eat toast with butter and an egg. Sometimes I listen to music while eating, and it helps me relax before the busy day begins. After that, I get ready, pack my bag, and finally leave the house at about 8:30. Excellent. When you shadow like this, you not only learn vocabulary, but also the rhythm of fluent English. After breakfast, the next part of your daily rows. Commuting is usually leaving the house. This is a great opportunity to practice more advanced phrases and vocabulary. Many learners only say, I go to work or I go to school. But to sound fluent, you need to expand this idea and connect it with other details. For example, I leave the house at 8:30 and walk to the bus stop. Or, I usually drive to work because my office is far from home. Or even, I often take the train because it is faster and more comfortable than driving. Each version adds new words and new connections. Now, let's practice together. Repeat after me. I leave the house at 8:30 and walk to the bus stop. Good. Now say, I usually drive to work because my office is far from home. Excellent. And now, make it longer. I usually drive to work because my office is far from home, but when the weather is nice, I sometimes walk to the nearby station and take the train. This version sounds advanced because it includes contrast, the word but, and shows flexibility in your daily routine. Let's also practice with commuting vocabulary. Instead of always saying, I go, try these expressions. I commute to work. I travel to the office. I head to school. I set off for work. Or, I make my way to the university. Each of these phrases can replace the simple go and will make your English sound richer. For example, you can say, I commute to work by bus every day, and it usually takes about 30 minutes. Or, I make my way to school on foot because it's close to my house. Or, I set off for the office early because I want to avoid the heavy traffic. Do you see how natural these sound? Here's a speaking exercise for you. Imagine you are telling someone about your journey to work or school. Try this. I leave my house at 8 o'clock. I walk to the bus stop, and then I take the bus for 20 minutes. Now, let's make it more advanced. I usually leave my house around 8 o'clock and walk to the bus stop near the corner of my street. I take the bus for about 20 minutes, and during that time, I like to listen to podcasts in English. After that, I arrive at the office feeling more focused and ready to start the day. Adding details like near the corner of my street and listen to podcasts makes your speaking more interesting and advanced. Now, let's practice shadowing this version together. Say it slowly with me. I usually leave my house around 8 o'clock and walk to the bus stop near the corner of my street. Good. I take the bus for about 20 minutes, and during that time, I like to listen to podcasts in English. Excellent. After that, I arrive at the office feeling more focused and ready to start the day. Wonderful. Another tip for fluency is to describe not only what you do, but also what happens around you. For example, you can say, "The bus is usually crowded in the morning, but I try to find a seat so I can read a book." Or, "The train is fast, but sometimes it is delayed, so I have to wait patiently." Or, "When I walk to school, I enjoy the fresh air and the quiet streets in the morning." These descriptions show that you are not only using English to describe yourself, but also to talk about your surroundings. That's how advanced speakers use the language. Now, let's practice connecting feelings with your commute. Try saying, "I don't really like traffic because it makes me stressed, but I enjoy listening to music while driving." Or, "I like walking to work because it gives me time to clear my mind before the busy day starts." Or, "Although the train is sometimes late, I enjoy the journey because I can listen to English audio lessons." Each of these sentences mixes actions, feelings, and linking words. That's the secret to fluency. Here's a short practice exercise for you. Imagine your friend asks, "How do you usually get to work?" Try answering in 3 different ways. First, simple. I go to work by bus. Second, more advanced. I usually take the bus to work, and it takes about 30 minutes. Third, advanced and fluent. I usually take the bus to work, and it takes about 30 minutes, but I don't mind the time because I listen to English podcasts on the way, which helps me improve my listening skills. When you practice giving 3 versions like this, your fluency grows naturally. When you arrive at work or school, this is another chance to expand your English with natural expressions. Many learners only say, "I start work at 9, or "I go to class at 8:30. These are correct, but too short. To sound fluent and advanced, you need to add detail, connect ideas, and include feelings. For example, instead of saying, "I start work at 9, you can say, "I usually arrive at the office a few minutes before 9 because I like to organize my desk and prepare for the day." Or, "I get to class at 8:30, and before the lesson begins, I chat with my classmates about homework or daily life." These versions give more information and make your speech flow naturally. Let's practice together. Repeat this simple version. I start work at 9. Good. Now expand it. I usually arrive at the office before 9 and prepare my desk. Excellent. And now, let's make it more advanced. I usually arrive at the office a little before 9, prepare my desk, check my emails quickly, and make a list of tasks I want to complete during the day. Do you hear how smooth and detailed it becomes? That's the difference between beginner English and advanced English. Another way to sound fluent is to describe the environment around you when you arrive. For example, "The office is usually quiet in the morning, and I enjoy that calm atmosphere before everyone arrives." Or, "The classroom is busy with students talking, and it makes me feel excited to learn together." By describing the environment, you make your sentences richer and more engaging. Now let's focus on vocabulary for starting the day's tasks. Instead of always saying work, try these phrases. I begin my tasks. I check my schedule. I reply to emails. I attend meetings. I review my notes. Or, I prepare for class. Each one shows a specific activity and makes your English more advanced. For example, you can say, when I arrive at the office, I usually check my schedule and reply to urgent emails before starting bigger tasks. Or, when I get to school, I review my notes quickly so I'm ready for the lesson. These phrases sound fluent and practical. Here's a short speaking exercise. Imagine your teacher or colleague asks, "What do you do first when you arrive?" Try answering like this. When I arrive, I check my emails and reply to important ones first, then I prepare for my main tasks. Or, when I arrive at school, I talk to my classmates and review my notes before the class begins. Or even, when I arrive, I like to write down 3 goals for the day because it helps me stay focused. Practicing multiple answers will help you feel ready to speak in different real-life situations. Now let's add emotions and reflections, because advanced speakers often share how they feel about their routines. You could say, I usually feel motivated in the morning because I have energy to complete my tasks. Or, sometimes I feel stressed when I see too many emails, but I try to stay calm and focus on one thing at a time. Or, I feel excited when I meet my classmates in the morning because we share ideas and help each other. These sentences make your English sound authentic and human. Let's practice shadowing a full answer together. Repeat each line slowly after me. I usually arrive at the office a little before 9. I prepare my desk, check my emails quickly, and make a list of tasks I want to complete. The office is usually quiet in the morning, and I enjoy the calm atmosphere. Sometimes I feel stressed when I see too many emails, but I try to stay calm and focus on one thing at a time. Excellent. By repeating full sentences like these, you are training your brain to use natural patterns of English fluency. Here's a challenge exercise for you. Imagine you are telling a friend about the start of your work or school day. Try to speak for 1 full minute without stopping. Use linking words like first, then, after that, and finally. For example, you might say, first, I arrive at the office and prepare my desk. Then I check my emails and reply to important ones. After that, I review my schedule and decide which tasks to do first. Finally, I start working on the most important project of the day. Practicing in this way trains you to speak smoothly without long pauses. Once your day has started, you often need to talk about the tasks you do at work or the lessons you attend at school. To build fluency, don't just say, I work or I study. Instead, describe what kind of work or study you do, how you do it, and even how you feel about it. For example, instead of saying, I work on my computer, try, I usually work on my computer, writing reports, sending emails, and analyzing data. Or if you are a student, instead of, I study English, you can say, I usually study English in the morning, focusing on reading and vocabulary, and then I practice speaking with classmates. Let's practice together. Repeat this short version. I work on my computer. Good. Now expand it. I usually work on my computer, writing emails and preparing reports. Excellent. And now, make it advanced. I usually work on my computer, writing emails, preparing reports, and analyzing data. But sometimes I also attend meetings or answer phone calls, which makes my day more dynamic. The more detail you add, the more fluent you sound. When you want to describe your workday or school day in a more advanced way, try to use time expressions, words like in the morning, in the afternoon, around lunchtime, or before the end of the day. Make your speaking flow like a real schedule. For example, you can say, in the morning, I usually reply to emails and prepare reports. In the afternoon, I attend meetings with my colleagues. Before the end of the day, I finish my tasks and check my schedule for tomorrow. Do you hear the natural rhythm of that description? Here's a practice exercise for you. Imagine you are telling a new friend about your daily work or study routine. Try answering like this. In the morning, I usually have English class where I focus on grammar and vocabulary. In the afternoon, I practice speaking with my classmates. Later, I review my notes and prepare for the next day's lessons. Or if you are working, you can say, in the morning, I usually work on reports and answer emails. After lunch, I attend meetings with my team. And later, I focus on bigger projects that require concentration. Now, let's add interactions with people. Daily life is not only about what you do, but also about the people you meet and talk to. For example, I usually talk with my colleagues about work projects, and sometimes we also share stories about our weekends. Or, I often ask my teacher questions when I don't understand something, and I enjoy discussing topics with my classmates. Adding these interactions shows more variety in your English and makes your speech sound advanced. Here's another exercise. Imagine someone asks you, who do you usually talk to during the day? You can answer simply, I talk to my colleagues. But let's make it advanced. I usually talk to my colleagues about work projects, and sometimes we share personal stories during our coffee breaks, which makes the day more enjoyable. See how the second answer feels more fluent and human? Meetings are also an important part of many people's day. You don't have to just say, I have a meeting. You can say, I attend a meeting with my team to discuss our weekly goals, or I join an online meeting with my manager to report on my progress. Or I have a class meeting where we discuss a group project. These details make your English more specific and advanced. Let's practice shadowing an advanced version together. Repeat after me slowly. In the morning, I usually reply to emails and prepare reports. In the afternoon, I attend meetings with my colleagues to discuss projects. Later in the day, I work on more complex tasks that require focus, such as writing long reports or analyzing data. Excellent. Shadowing these kinds of sentences will train you to keep speaking without stopping or translating. Another way to improve fluency is to include feelings about your tasks. For example, I sometimes feel tired after long meetings, but I try to stay positive and contribute ideas. Or, I enjoy working on reports because I like organizing information. Or, I feel proud when I complete a big project successfully. Sharing emotions makes your English sound real and advanced, not robotic. Finally, try practicing with this challenge. Speak for 2 minutes about your work or school day, without stopping. Use linking words like first, next, after that, and finally. Add details about tasks, people, and feelings. For example, First, I start the day by checking my emails. Next, I reply to important ones and prepare reports. After that, I join a meeting with my colleagues and we discuss projects for the week. Finally, I spend the afternoon working on a larger task. And before leaving, I review my progress and prepare for tomorrow. This exercise will push your fluency to a higher level. Around midday, most people talk about having lunch. But to become fluent, don't just say, I eat lunch at 1 o'clock. Try to build a longer, richer sentence that gives more detail and variety. For example, I usually eat lunch at around 1 o'clock in the office cafeteria, where I sit with my colleagues and talk about different topics. Or, I often bring lunch from home and I enjoy eating something healthy like salad or rice with vegetables because it keeps me energetic for the afternoon. These descriptions feel alive and show fluency through detail. Let's practice step by step. Start simple. I eat lunch at 1 o'clock. Now expand. I usually eat lunch at 1 o'clock with my colleagues at the office cafeteria. Excellent. Now let's make it advanced. I usually eat lunch at 1 o'clock with my colleagues in the office cafeteria, and while we eat, we talk about our projects or share personal stories, which makes the break more enjoyable. Do you feel the difference? The last version is not only longer, but also smoother and more natural. Another tip is to practice using different verbs instead of always saying eat. For example, I grab lunch, I have lunch, I prepare lunch, or I enjoy lunch. Each of these verbs changes the feeling slightly and helps you avoid repetition. For example, I usually grab lunch quickly when I'm busy. Or, I prepare lunch at home and bring it to work because I like homemade food. Or, I enjoy lunch with my classmates because it gives us a chance to relax together. Using variety like this makes your English sound advanced and flexible. Let's add in some emotions and reflections. You can say, I feel relaxed when I eat lunch with friends because it gives me energy for the rest of the day. Or, I sometimes feel tired after lunch, so I drink tea to stay focused in the afternoon. Or, I enjoy trying different foods for lunch because it makes my routine more interesting. Remember, adding feelings makes your speaking more natural and advanced. Now, here's a practice exercise for you. Imagine a colleague asks you, what do you usually have for lunch? You could answer simply, I eat rice and chicken. But let's expand. I usually eat rice and chicken for lunch because it's simple and filling. And now let's make it more advanced. I usually eat rice and chicken for lunch because it's simple and filling, but sometimes I like to try new dishes like pasta or sandwiches to add some variety to my meals. Do you notice how the advanced version sounds like real conversation? Lunch is also a good moment to practice talking about social interactions. For example, during lunch, I chat with my colleagues about our weekends. Or, at lunch, I sit with my classmates and talk about homework or share funny stories. Or, I often use lunchtime to catch up with friends on the phone, especially if I haven't seen them for a while. These sentences go beyond food and show how lunch is a social part of your day. Let's do a shadowing exercise together. Repeat after me slowly. I usually eat lunch at around 1 o'clock in the office cafeteria with my colleagues. While we eat, we talk about our projects or share personal stories. I feel relaxed when I eat lunch with friends because it gives me energy for the rest of the day. Sometimes I feel tired after lunch, so I drink tea to stay focused in the afternoon. Great work! By practicing whole sentences like this, you build fluency and rhythm. Now let's move on to describing the afternoon. Many people feel a change in energy after lunch. Instead of saying, I work in the afternoon, try, in the afternoon, I usually continue working on my projects, but sometimes I feel sleepy after lunch, so I drink coffee to stay awake. Or, in the afternoon, I attend more meetings, and I try to finish my most important tasks before the day ends. Or, in the afternoon, I usually study for a couple of hours, review my notes, and prepare assignments for the next day. These variations help you sound advanced. Here's a quick exercise for fluency. Imagine someone asks, "What do you usually do after lunch?" You could answer, "I go back to work." But let's make it better. After lunch, I usually go back to work and continue with my tasks. And even more advanced, after lunch, I usually go back to work, continue with my tasks, and if I feel tired, I drink coffee or take a short walk to refresh my mind before focusing again. Do you feel how much more natural that sounds? Finally, here's a 1-minute challenge exercise for you. Try to speak non-stop for 1 minute about your lunch and afternoon routine. Use linking words like after, during, while, but, and so. For example, I usually eat lunch around 1 o'clock with my colleagues. During lunch, we talk about our weekends and share stories. After lunch, I sometimes feel sleepy, so I drink coffee to stay awake. While I drink my coffee, I often check my phone or read a few articles online. After that, I return to my desk and continue working on my projects until the afternoon meeting. Practicing like this helps you build the stamina to speak continuously and fluently. In the afternoon, many people either continue their work or attend meetings, classes, or group discussions. To sound fluent, you should avoid repeating the same simple sentence like, I have a meeting. Instead, expand with details. For example, in the afternoon, I usually attend a meeting with my team to review our progress and plan the next steps. Or, in the afternoon, I join an online class where I practice listening and speaking exercises with other students. These longer sentences give your English more weight and natural flow. Now, let's practice step by step. Start simple. I have a meeting in the afternoon. Expand it. I usually have a meeting in the afternoon with my team. And now, make it advanced. In the afternoon, I usually attend a meeting with my team where we review our progress, discuss challenges, and make decisions about the next steps for our project. Do you hear how much stronger and clearer the last version is? That's advanced fluency in action. Another way to make your English sound fluent is to describe not just the meeting, but also what happens inside it. For example, we usually start by reviewing what we finished in the morning, or we discuss the problems we are facing and try to find solutions together. Or, sometimes the meeting is short and focused, but other times it takes longer because we need to make important decisions. By explaining these details, you practice expressing complex ideas in English, which helps you sound more advanced. Here's a practice exercise for you. Imagine your manager asks you, "Can you describe today's meeting?" You could answer simply, "We talked about work." But let's expand it. In today's meeting, we talked about the progress of our project. And now, make it more advanced. In today's meeting, we talked about the progress of our project, shared updates from each team member, and decided on the next tasks that need to be completed by the end of the week. The advanced version is clear, structured, and fluent. If you are a student, you can practice in the same way. Instead of saying, "I studied English in the afternoon," you could say, In the afternoon, I studied English by practicing reading and vocabulary exercises. Or, in the afternoon, I attended an English class where I listened to a story and answered questions about it. Or, in the afternoon, I practiced speaking with my classmates in pairs, and it helped me feel more confident in using new words. Adding these details makes your speaking sound natural and advanced. Let's do a shadowing exercise together. Repeat each line after me slowly. In the afternoon, I usually attend a meeting with my team where we review our progress and plan the next steps. Sometimes the meeting is short, but other times it takes longer because we need to make decisions. In the afternoon, I also focus on studying by reading and practicing vocabulary exercises. Sometimes I practice speaking with classmates, which helps me feel more confident. Excellent! By repeating these sentences, you are learning both vocabulary and rhythm. Another important fluency skill is talking about challenges during the afternoon. For example, in the afternoon, I sometimes feel tired and lose concentration, so I take a short break to refresh my mind. Or, I find it difficult to stay focused after a long meeting, so I drink some water and stretch before continuing with my work. Or, sometimes I feel pressure because of deadlines, but I try to stay calm and organize my tasks one by one. These sentences include challenges and solutions, which makes your English more advanced. Here's a fluency practice exercise. Imagine someone asks, "How do you usually feel in the afternoon?" You could answer, "I feel tired." But let's expand. I usually feel a little tired in the afternoon. And now, make it advanced. In the afternoon, I usually feel a little tired after lunch, but I try to stay productive by drinking coffee, taking short breaks, and focusing on small tasks before returning to bigger projects. That's a fluent, natural answer. Finally, let's practice describing your afternoon in a full story. Try to speak for 1 minute without stopping. For example, in the afternoon, I usually attend a meeting with my team to review our progress. After that, I return to my desk and work on my main tasks. Sometimes I feel tired, so I drink coffee or take a short walk to refresh myself. Later, I continue working on my projects until around 5 o'clock when I prepare to finish my work for the day. Practicing like this trains your brain to think in English without translating. As the afternoon comes to an end, most people prepare to finish their work or studies. To describe this fluently, you should avoid saying only, "I finish work at 5," or "I go home after class." These sentences are correct, but too basic. Instead, add details about what you do before leaving, how you feel, and what happens after. For example, I usually finish my work around 5 o'clock, but before I leave, I review my tasks and make a plan for the next day. Or, after my last class, I spend a few minutes talking with my classmates before heading home. Adding these small details makes your English sound more advanced and complete. Let's practice step by step. Start with the simple version. I finish work at 5. Good. Now expand it. I usually finish work at 5 and then go home. Excellent. And now, let's make it advanced. I usually finish work at around 5 o'clock. And before I leave the office, I review my tasks, write down what I need to do tomorrow, and quickly check my emails so I don't miss anything important. Do you feel how much more fluent that sounds? Another way to practice fluency is to describe how you feel at the end of the day. For example, At the end of the day, I often feel tired, but satisfied if I have finished my tasks. Or, sometimes I feel stressed because I still have unfinished work, but I remind myself to relax and continue tomorrow. Or, I usually feel happy at the end of the day if I learned something new or completed something important. Sharing emotions makes your English more natural and advanced. Now, let's talk about commuting back home. Instead of only saying, I go home, you can say, I usually take the bus back home, and it takes about half an hour, during which I like to listen to music or podcasts. Or, I drive home after work, and although traffic is sometimes heavy, I use the time to call my family and talk with them. Or, I walk home in the evening, and I enjoy the fresh air, because it helps me clear my mind after a busy day. These kinds of sentences turn a simple action into a fluent description. Here's a practice exercise for you. Imagine your friend asks, how do you usually get home? You could answer simply, I go home by bus. But let's expand. I usually go home by bus, and it takes 30 minutes. Now, let's make it advanced. I usually go home by bus, and it takes around 30 minutes. During the journey, I like to listen to English podcasts, or sometimes read a book, which helps me improve my English and makes the time feel useful. The last version shows detail, purpose, and fluency. Let's also practice shadowing together. Repeat slowly after me. I usually finish work around 5 o'clock. Before I leave, I review my tasks and prepare a plan for tomorrow. I usually take the bus back home, and during the journey, I listen to music or podcasts. Sometimes I feel tired after work, but I enjoy walking home because the fresh air helps me relax. Excellent. No. Let's add variety to describe arriving home. Instead of just saying, I arrive home at 6, try, I usually arrive home at around 6, and the first thing I do is change into comfortable clothes. Or, I get home at about 6:30, and I like to rest for a few minutes before preparing dinner. Or, I come back home in the evening, and I feel relaxed once I sit down after a long day. These sentences sound advanced because they add actions and feelings. Here's another challenge exercise for fluency. Try to tell a complete story about the end of your work or school day. For example, I usually finish my work around 5 o'clock. Before I leave, I make a plan for the next day and check my emails quickly. After that, I take the bus home, which usually takes about 30 minutes. During the bus ride, I listen to English podcasts to practice listening. When I arrive home at around 6, I change into comfortable clothes and take a short rest before preparing dinner. That's a full, fluent, natural description of your late afternoon and early evening routine. When you practice this kind of storytelling, you train your brain to think in English for longer periods without translating. This is the key to sounding advanced and confident. Evening is one of the richest times to practice describing your daily life because you can talk about food, family, hobbies, and relaxation. To sound fluent, don't just say, I eat dinner at 7, or I watch TV in the evening. Expand your sentences and connect them naturally. For example, I usually eat dinner at around 7 o'clock with my family, and we talk about our day while enjoying the meal. Or, I prepare dinner at home. And I like cooking because it helps me relax after a busy day. These kinds of sentences show fluency and personal expression. Let's practice step by step. Start with the simple version. I eat dinner at 7. Expand it. I usually eat dinner at 7 with my family. And now, make it advanced. I usually eat dinner at 7 with my family, and during dinner, we talk about our day, share stories, and sometimes make plans for the weekend. The last version flows like natural conversation, and that's the level of fluency you should aim for. Another way to make your English sound advanced is to describe the food you eat in detail. Instead of only saying, I eat rice, you can say, I usually eat rice with vegetables and chicken for dinner because it's healthy and gives me energy. Or, sometimes I cook pasta with tomato sauce because it's quick and delicious. Or, on weekends, I like to try new recipes like curry or grilled fish because cooking is one of my hobbies. These details make your English more vivid and interesting. Here's a practice exercise. Imagine a friend asks, "What do you usually eat for dinner?" You could answer simply, "I eat rice and vegetables." Let's expand. I usually eat rice and vegetables for dinner. And now, let's make it advanced. I usually eat rice and vegetables for dinner, but sometimes I prepare pasta or soup, especially when I want something quick and light. On weekends, I like to cook special meals, such as curry or roasted chicken, because it makes dinner more exciting. The advanced version is detailed, flexible, and fluent. Evening is also a time to relax. Many learners say, I watch TV, but advanced speakers give more detail. For example, in the evening, I usually watch TV shows for about an hour to relax. Or, I often watch English movies with subtitles because it helps me improve my listening skills while enjoying the story. Or, sometimes I read a book instead of watching TV because I like to spend quiet time before going to bed. Each O of these versions sounds more fluent and thoughtful. Let's shadow some examples together. Repeat slowly after me. I usually eat dinner at 7 with my family. During dinner, we talk about our day and share stories. Sometimes I cook pasta with tomato sauce because it's quick and delicious. In the evening, I often watch English movies with subtitles to improve my listening skills. Excellent. Now, let's practice describing hobbies in the evening. Instead of just saying, I play games, try. In the evening, I sometimes play video games online with my friends because it helps me relax and have fun. Or, I like to paint or draw in the evening because it allows me to be creative after a long day. Or, I often practice English in the evening by listening to podcasts, reading articles, or writing in my journal. By describing your hobbies in detail, you expand your vocabulary and sound more advanced. Here's a short fluency exercise for you. Imagine someone asks, how do you usually spend your evenings? You could answer simply, I watch TV. Let's expand. I usually watch TV for about an hour in the evening. And now, make it advanced. I usually watch TV for about an hour in the evening, but sometimes I read a book or listen to music instead, especially when I want to relax quietly. On other days, I practice English by writing in my journal or shadowing English conversations. This version is smooth, flexible, and advanced. Evenings are also about social life. You can say, sometimes I go out with friends for dinner or coffee in the evening, or I often call my parents in the evening to ask how they are doing, or on weekends, I meet my friends in the evening to watch a movie or play sports together. These are natural, advanced ways to describe social activities in your daily routine. Finally, let's practice telling a complete evening story. For example, I usually arrive home around 6 and rest for a short time. Then I prepare dinner and eat at around 7 with my family. During dinner, we talk about our day and share stories. After dinner, I sometimes watch TV or read a book. On some evenings, I practice English by listening to podcasts or writing in my journal. On weekends, I often go out with friends or cook special meals to make the evening more exciting. That's a fluent, advanced description that includes actions, details, and feelings. As the evening comes to a close, you can practice fluency by describing how you relax and prepare for bed. Many learners say only, I go to bed at 10, but that's too short and basic. Advanced English speakers add detail, connect ideas, and include feelings. For example, in the evening, before going to bed, I like to read a book or listen to soft music because it helps me relax. Or, I usually prepare my things for the next day, such as my clothes and my bag, so that I don't feel stressed in the morning. These versions sound much more natural and fluent. Let's practice step by step. Start simple. I go to bed at 10 o'clock. Expand it. I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock after watching TV. Now, make it advanced. I usually go to bed at around 10 o'clock after watching TV or reading a book. And before I sleep, I prepare my clothes and bag for the next day because it makes me feel organized and relaxed. Do you notice how much more complete and advanced that last version sounds? Another way to practice fluency is by describing your evening habits in detail. For example, before bed, I brush my teeth, wash my face, and sometimes drink a glass of warm milk to feel calm. Or, I usually write in my journal for a few minutes at night to reflect on my day and practice gratitude. Or, I often check my calendar for the next day so I know exactly what I need to do when I wake up. These extra details make your English sound more advanced and authentic. Here's a practice exercise. Imagine your teacher asks, "What do you usually do before going to bed?" You could answer simply, "I brush my teeth and go to bed." Let's expand. I usually brush my teeth and go to bed at 10. And now, let's make it advanced. I usually brush my teeth, wash my face, and go to bed at around 10 o'clock. Before sleeping, I like to read a book or listen to calming music because it helps me relax and fall asleep more easily. The advanced version is natural, detailed, and fluent. Let's also practice with shadowing. Repeat slowly after me. I usually go to bed at around 10 o'clock after watching TV or reading a book. Before I sleep, I prepare my clothes and bag for the next day. I often write in my journal at night to reflect on my day and practice gratitude. Sometimes I listen to calming music before sleeping because it helps me relax. Excellent. Shadowing these sentences will train you to speak with rhythm and flow. Now, let's describe feelings at the end of the day. Instead of saying only, "I feel tired," you can say, "At the end of the day, I usually feel tired but also satisfied because I have completed my tasks." Or, sometimes I feel stressed if I still have work to do, but I try to remind myself to rest and continue tomorrow. Or, I feel peaceful at night when I spend a few minutes reflecting on the positive moments of the day before sleeping. Sharing feelings in this way makes your English sound advanced and personal. Here's another fluency exercise. Try to speak for 1 full minute about your bedtime routine without stopping. For example, at night, I usually brush my teeth and wash my face before going to bed. I prepare my clothes and bag for the next day so I don't feel stressed in the morning. Sometimes I read a book or listen to calming music before sleeping. Other times, I write in my journal to reflect on my day. Finally, I turn off the lights and go to bed at around 10 o'clock, feeling relaxed and ready for the next day. Practicing like this helps you build confidence in describing everyday routines naturally. Finally, remember that fluency is not only about describing what you do, it's about connecting your ideas smoothly. When you talk about bedtime, you can use linking phrases like before that, after that, finally, and at the end of the day. For example, before going to bed, I prepare my things for tomorrow. After that, I brush my teeth and wash my face. Finally, I read a few pages of a book before turning off the lights. Linking words are like bridges between your sentences. They make your English sound connected and advanced. One of the best ways to sound advanced in English is to describe your whole day as one connected story. Instead of short, separate sentences, many learners stop after 1 or 2 sentences, but advanced speakers connect everything with linking words and details. For example, instead of saying, I wake up at 7, I eat breakfast, I go to work, I come home, you can turn it into a full, fluent description like this. I usually wake up at around 7 in the morning, and after brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I prepare breakfast. I eat toast and drink coffee while listening to music, and then I get ready for work. At around 8:30, I leave the house, take the bus to the office, and spend about 30 minutes listening to podcasts during the journey. When I arrive at the office, I check my emails, make a list of tasks, and begin working on reports or attending meetings. At lunchtime, I eat with my colleagues in the cafeteria, and we often chat about our weekends or talk about projects. In the afternoon, I usually feel a little tired, so I drink coffee to stay focused before continuing with my work. Finally, I finish at around 5 o'clock, take the bus home, and when I arrive, I change into comfortable clothes, prepare dinner, and spend the evening relaxing with my family or reading a book. Before bed, I prepare my things for the next day, brush my teeth, and then go to sleep at around 10 o'clock. Let's practice together. Repeat each part slowly after me. I usually wake up at around 7 in the morning, and after brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I prepare breakfast. Good. I eat toast and drink coffee while listening to music, and then I get ready for work. Excellent. At around 8:30, I leave the house, take the bus to the office, and spend about 30 minutes listening to podcasts during the journey. Very good. When I arrive at the office, I check my emails, make a list of tasks, and begin working on reports or attending meetings. Perfect. At lunchtime, I eat with my colleagues in the cafeteria, and we often chat about our weekends or talk about projects. Great. In the afternoon, I usually feel a little tired, so I drink coffee to stay focused before continuing with my work. Excellent. Finally, I finish at around 5 o'clock, take the bus home, and when I arrive, I change into comfortable clothes, prepare dinner, and spend the evening relaxing with my family or reading a book. Wonderful. Before bed, I prepare my things for the next day, brush my teeth, and then go to sleep at around 10 o'clock. Fantastic. This exercise is powerful because it forces you to connect ideas. Notice the linking words and, after, then, at around, when, finally, before. These small words are like glue. They hold your sentences together and make your English sound fluent and natural. Here's a challenge for you. Try to describe your day out loud without stopping for 1 or 2 minutes. Use linking words, details, and emotions. For example, you could say, I usually wake up at 7, and although I sometimes feel tired, I try to start the day with energy. After brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I eat breakfast with my family and we talk about our plans for the day. Then, I leave the house and go to work by bus. And during the ride, I listen to English podcasts. At work, I check my emails, attend meetings, and focus on finishing reports. At lunch, I eat with my colleagues and we share stories, which makes the day more enjoyable. In the afternoon, I sometimes feel sleepy, so I drink coffee and take short breaks to stay focused. At the end of the day, I take the bus home, and when I arrive, I relax, cook dinner, and spend time with my family. Before bed, I prepare for tomorrow, and then read a few pages of a book before sleeping at around 10. This full version is not only longer, but also natural, advanced, and very close to how fluent English speakers describe their day. To make it even stronger, add emotions and reflections. For example, I feel calm when I wake up early because I can start my day slowly. Or, I enjoy listening to English podcasts on the bus because I use my time wisely and learn at the same time. Or, I sometimes feel stressed in the afternoon, but I remind myself to take things step by step. Or, I feel relaxed in the evening when I spend time with my family because it helps me forget about work. These emotional details make your English sound personal and advanced. Let's shadow another version together. Repeat slowly after me. I usually wake up at around 7 in the morning, and although I sometimes feel tired, I try to start the day with energy. After brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I prepare breakfast and enjoy coffee with my family. Then I leave the house and take the bus to work, listening to podcasts to practice my English. At the office, I check my emails, join meetings, and focus on my main projects. At lunchtime, I eat with my colleagues and we chat about both work and daily life. In the afternoon, I sometimes feel sleepy, so I drink coffee and take short breaks to stay focused. When the day ends, I go back home, prepare dinner, and spend the evening relaxing. Finally, before going to bed, I prepare my clothes for the next day, brush my teeth, and read a book to relax before sleeping at around 10 o'clock. Excellent. By practicing your day as one connected story, you are building a habit of fluency. The more you do it, the easier it becomes to think in English without translating. One powerful way to become fluent is to practice describing the same day in different styles. Why? Because real English changes depending on who you are speaking with. Sometimes you need casual English for friends, sometimes more formal English for work, and sometimes emotional or storytelling English when you want to express yourself deeply. Training yourself in all these styles makes you flexible, confident, and advanced. Let's start with casual style. This is the way you might talk to a close friend. It's relaxed, simple, but still natural. For example, so I woke up around 7 today, grabbed some coffee, and then rushed to work. The bus was late, which was annoying, but I listened to some music on the way. Work was busy, lots of emails, some meetings, and I had to finish a report before lunch. At lunch, I ate with a couple of colleagues, and we talked about our weekend plans. The afternoon was a bit slow, but I had coffee to stay awake. After work, I just went home, had dinner, and watched a bit of TV before bed. Notice how this version uses everyday expressions like grabbed some coffee, rushed to work, a bit slow, just went home. This is casual, friendly English. Now let's move to a formal style. This is the kind of English you might use in a meeting, an interview, or when writing an email. For example, I typically begin my day at 7 o'clock in the morning. After getting ready, I prepare a light breakfast and enjoy a cup of coffee. I leave home at around 8:30 and commute to the office by bus, which usually takes about 30 minutes. During this time, I listen to English podcasts to make use of the journey. Once at the office, I check my emails, organize my tasks, and attend meetings with my team to discuss progress. At midday, I have lunch with colleagues in the cafeteria, and in the afternoon, I continue working on projects until the end of the day. After work, I return home, prepare dinner, and spend the evening either reading or watching educational programs. Before going to bed, I prepare my schedule for the next day, and then retire at around 10 o'clock. This style is more structured, formal, and professional. Now let's try an emotional style. This is when you want to share feelings and make your story more personal. For example, I woke up at 7 this morning, and even though I felt a little tired, I tried to start the day with energy. Breakfast was simple, but enjoyable. Just toast and coffee. But it gave me a moment of peace before a busy day. The bus ride to work was crowded, but I listened to music, and it made me feel calm. At work, I felt stressed at first because of so many emails, but during lunch, I laughed with my colleagues, and it lifted my mood. The afternoon was difficult, but I pushed through, and by the end of the day, I felt proud of finishing my tasks. In the evening, I cooked dinner and shared it with my family, and I felt relaxed and happy. Before sleeping, I wrote in my journal about the good parts of the day, and I went to bed with a peaceful mind. This version uses feelings: tired, peace, calm, stressed, relaxed, happy, proud. Emotions make English sound real and advanced. Finally, let's practice a storytelling style. This is when you tell your day like a little story, almost like a short narrative. For example, the alarm rang at 7, and I slowly opened my eyes. The room was quiet, and I could hear birds outside the window. After brushing my teeth and taking a shower, I made a cup of coffee and enjoyed the warm taste as I looked out at the morning sky. At 8:30, I left home, walked to the bus stop, and joined the crowd of people heading to work. The bus was crowded, but I put on my headphones and listened to a podcast, letting the words fill my mind. At the office, I checked my emails, attended meetings, and worked hard on my reports. Lunch was lively. We laughed, shared stories, and for a while, I forgot the stress of the morning. The afternoon passed slowly, but finally, it was 5 o'clock, and I was free. The bus carried me home, and when I opened the door, the smell of home-cooked dinner welcomed me. The evening was peaceful, filled with family conversations and quiet moments. At night, I prepared my things for tomorrow, read a few pages of a book, and drifted into sleep. Storytelling English uses imagery, rhythm, and descriptive details. It is advanced because it paints pictures in the listener's mind. Here's your fluency challenge. Pick one style: casual, formal, emotional, or storytelling, and try to describe your day for 1 minute without stopping. Then switch styles and try again. This practice will make your English flexible and strong. One of the most effective ways to train advanced fluency is to practice speaking in different real-life situations. Let's start with the job interview style. Imagine an interviewer asks you, "Can you describe a typical day for you?" Instead of giving a short answer like, "I wake up and go to work," you can say, "A typical day for me begins at around 7 o'clock in the morning. After getting ready, I prepare a simple breakfast and enjoy a cup of coffee before leaving the house. I usually take the bus to work, which takes about 30 minutes. And during this time, I listen to podcasts in English to make the journey productive. At the office, I check my emails, organize my tasks, and then focus on projects or attend meetings with my team. At lunchtime, I eat with colleagues and use the opportunity to build strong working relationships. In the afternoon, I continue with my projects and make sure to complete my priorities before the end of the day. After work, I return home, prepare dinner, and relax by reading or studying. Finally, I prepare for the next day and go to bed around 10 o'clock. This answer is formal, clear, and well organized, perfect for an interview. Now, let's move to the small talk style. Imagine you meet someone at a cafe and they ask, "So, what's your day usually like?" You don't need to be too formal here, just natural and friendly. You could say, "Well, I usually get up around 7, grab some coffee, and then head to work. The bus ride is about 30 minutes, so I usually listen to some music or podcasts on the way. At work, I check my emails, attend a few meetings, and spend the rest of the day on projects. At lunch, I eat with colleagues, and we chat about different things. After work, I go home, make dinner, and sometimes watch TV or read before going to bed around 10. This version is shorter, more casual, and works well for friendly conversations. Now imagine the Friends style, very relaxed, informal, almost like storytelling with slang or fun expressions. You might say, "Honestly, my day is pretty normal. I wake up around 7, grab some coffee, and rush to the bus stop because I'm usually running late. Work is busy, lots of emails and meetings. Lunch is the best part because I hang out with my colleagues and we just chat about random stuff. The afternoon feels a bit long, but I get through it with coffee. After work, I just chill at home, cook something simple, and watch Netflix before crashing into bed around 10. This style is relaxed and sounds like real-life conversation between friends. Now let's practice the public speaking style. Imagine you are giving a talk in front of a group of people and explaining your daily routine. You might say, "Every day is an opportunity to practice discipline and balance. I begin my day at 7 in the morning with a simple routine. I wake up, get ready, and prepare breakfast. By 8:30, I am on my way to work, often using the bus ride as a chance to listen to podcasts or read. At work, I begin by checking my emails and setting my priorities. Throughout the day, I attend meetings, work on projects, and collaborate with my colleagues. At lunchtime, I take a moment to connect with my team over food and conversation. In the afternoon, I continue with my work, making sure to complete the most important tasks. After work, I head home, prepare dinner, and spend the evening either with my family or doing something relaxing, like reading. Finally, I prepare for the next day and go to bed at around 10. This daily structure not only keeps me organized, but also helps me stay motivated and productive. This style is polished, inspiring, and clear, perfect for speeches or presentations. Here's your practice challenge. Try to describe your day in at least two of these styles, one formal, one casual, and see how different they feel. By practicing in this way, you build flexibility, and flexibility is what separates intermediate English from advanced fluency. To master fluency, it's important to practice flexibility in time. You should be able to describe your day not only in the present tense, but also in the past tense. For example, instead of "I wake up at 7," say, "Yesterday, I woke up at 7 in the morning, brushed my teeth, and took a shower. After that, I prepared breakfast and ate toast with coffee. I left the house at 8:30, took the bus, and listened to a podcast on the way. At the office, I checked my emails, attended a meeting, and worked on reports. At lunchtime, I ate with my colleagues, and we talked about our weekend plans. In the afternoon, I continued with my tasks, and by 5 o'clock, I finished my work and went home. In the evening, I cooked dinner, watched a movie, and went to bed around 10. Notice how the verbs change: wake, woke, eat, ate, go, went. Practicing this helps you tell stories fluently. Now, let's practice in the future tense. For example, tomorrow, I will wake up at 7 and start my day with a shower and breakfast. I will leave the house at 8:30 and take the bus to work. During the ride, I will listen to English podcasts. At work, I will check my emails, attend meetings, and complete my tasks. At lunchtime, I will eat with my colleagues and chat with them. In the afternoon, I will continue working, and by the evening, I will go home, prepare dinner, and relax with my family. Before going to bed, I will prepare my things for the next day and read a book. Using the future tense helps you sound confident when making plans or talking about what will happen. Finally, let's try the hypothetical style, using what if or conditional sentences. This is advanced because it makes you think creatively. For example, if I had more time in the morning, I would exercise before breakfast. Or, if the bus was late, I would take a taxi to get to work on time. Or, if I didn't have so many emails, I would spend more time learning English during the day. Or even, if I could change my routine, I would wake up earlier and spend more time reading in the evening. These kinds of sentences show imagination and allow you to practice grammar and fluency at the same time. Here's a practice challenge for you. Try describing your whole day in 3 versions: past, future, and hypothetical. For example, yesterday I woke up at 7 and had coffee. Tomorrow I will wake up at 7 and have coffee. If I had more time, I would wake up earlier and enjoy coffee slowly. By practicing this way, you make your English flexible, advanced, and natural in any situation. Now let's do one final shadowing exercise together. Repeat slowly after me. Yesterday, I woke up at 7 and went to work. Tomorrow, I will wake up at 7 and go to work. If I had more time, I would wake up earlier and go for a walk before work. Excellent. By practicing these variations, you are training your brain to use English automatically and fluently. Remember, fluency is built through practice, variety, and confidence. When you describe your day, don't limit yourself to short answers. Add detail, connect ideas, share feelings, and play with different styles. The more you practice, the more natural and advanced your English will become. So as we end this advanced English fluency masterclass, I encourage you to keep practicing every day. Speak out loud, shadow the sentences, and try to describe your routine in many different ways. The more you do it, the more confident and fluent you will feel. Thank you so much for learning with me today. If you enjoyed this lesson, don't forget to subscribe to English in Minutes and press the bell icon so you never miss a new episode. Keep practicing, keep improving, and remember, fluency is not a destination, it is a daily journey. I'll see you in the next lesson.